There's a strange paradox to our age. We have more ways to connect than any generation in history, yet we've never felt more anxious, more distracted, more divided. We wake up and scroll before we've even spoken to ourselves. We measure our worth by hearts, likes, and comments from people we may never meet. We refresh our feeds not because we're curious, but because we're restless. And behind every swipe, every notification, there's a subtle transaction. Our attention for their agenda, our peace for their profit. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You become what you give your attention to." He wasn't talking about smartphones, but he might as well have been. Because in a world where attention is currency, we're all at risk of becoming broke, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Social media was meant to serve us. But somewhere along the way, we began to serve it. We post to prove, scroll to escape, react to defend. We confuse visibility for value, noise for connection, stimulation for meaning. But what if the Stoics were right all along? What if peace doesn't come from more control over others, but more control over yourself? What if the true digital freedom isn't deleting every app, but mastering how you use them? This is where Stoicism meets the modern world. Not in marble halls or temples, but in the silent war within every notification, every urge to check, compare, or react. In this video, we'll explore 8 Stoic rules for social media peace. Practical, timeless principles drawn from the minds of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, translated for the digital age. Rules that will help you reclaim your mind from endless scrolling. Find clarity in chaos and rediscover the joy of being present. Because peace isn't found by logging off, it's found by looking within. The ancient Stoics never imagined a world of infinite scrolling. No glowing screens. No algorithms deciding what they saw or believed. Yet, their wisdom feels eerily designed for our time. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, kept a journal not to impress others, but to remind himself to stay steady amid chaos. Seneca wrote letters about discipline and peace while surrounded by the temptations of power and luxury. Epictetus, once a slave, taught that the only thing we truly control is our own mind. 2,000 years later, we face a new empire, the empire of the internet. Its rulers are not emperors, but algorithms. Its currency is not gold, but attention, and its battlefield is our mind. The Stoics understood something timeless. Peace is not found in escaping the world, but in mastering how we engage with it. They didn't retreat from society. They refined their presence within it. That's the same balance we must learn today. Not to abandon technology, but to use it consciously. Because social media isn't inherently good or bad. It's a tool, a mirror, a test of discipline. It reveals our cravings for validation, for comparison, for distraction, and invites us to master them. Every scroll is an opportunity to react or reflect, to envy or appreciate, to lose time or learn something. The Stoics would remind us that the external, what's on the screen, is neutral. What matters is the internal, how we choose to respond. This is what digital stoicism looks like. The art of staying calm while the online world rages. The practice of protecting your attention as fiercely as your freedom. The discipline of not letting the noise outside drown the voice within. So let's explore 8 Stoic rules, timeless principles reimagined for our modern digital lives, to help you master your digital self and find peace in the age of endless scrolling. Rule 1. The scroll is the new distraction. Seneca once said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." He spoke of travelers who rushed from one place to another, never truly arriving anywhere. But he could have been describing us, modern souls lost in the infinite scroll, jumping from one post to another, never arriving in the present moment. Every swipe is a whisper of false connection. You think you're catching up with the world, but the world is catching you instead. You scroll for 5 minutes, maybe 10, until minutes become hours, and you've seen everything yet felt nothing. What began as curiosity becomes compulsion, a habit that feeds itself by draining your focus. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." But when every thought is interrupted by a notification, a comparison, or a flash of digital outrage, that happiness fractures. You lose the ability to think your own thoughts. The algorithm begins to think for you. The Stoics believed that attention was sacred. the foundation of wisdom and virtue. They knew that what you give attention to shapes who you become. If you constantly consume anger, you grow bitter. If you drown in vanity, you become restless. If you feed your mind with noise, silence begins to feel unbearable. Social media isn't evil, but it's engineered to keep you hooked, not whole. It feeds the weakest parts of you, the craving for approval, the fear of missing out, the addiction to comparison. Each scroll feels like freedom, yet it quietly erodes your independence of mind. Seneca called this busy idleness. When we seem active but achieve nothing real, that's the digital trap. We appear connected, informed, engaged, but often we're just distracted. We're spectators of other people's lives, while our own passes in silence. The Stoic solution isn't to abandon technology. It's to use it consciously. Before you open an app, pause. Ask yourself, what am I seeking? If you can't answer, don't enter. Choose intention over impulse. Scroll with purpose, for knowledge, inspiration, growth, and stop when that purpose ends. Epictetus reminded his students, no man is free who is not master of himself. Today, mastery means deciding what deserves your attention and protecting it fiercely. You don't have to delete your apps. You just have to stop letting them delete your peace. Every time you resist the reflex to scroll, you reclaim a small piece of yourself. Every moment of stillness rebuilds the strength that distraction dissolves. In a world obsessed with endless noise, stillness is not weakness, it's rebellion. The Stoic doesn't run from the digital world. He simply refuses to be ruled by it. Rule 2, don't react, reflect. Epictetus once said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. 2,000 years later, those words might as well be a message to every person online. Because today, our greatest test of wisdom happens not in the marketplace or the battlefield, but in the comment section. Social media rewards reaction. Every platform is designed to provoke you, to make you angry, defensive, jealous, or afraid. The faster you react, the more engagement it earns. Outrage is currency. Reflection is silence. The algorithm feeds on your emotion, not your understanding. And so, people argue without listening, post without thinking, and attack without knowing. The Stoics understood that reaction is weakness. The moment you react impulsively, you surrender control to something outside yourself, a stranger's comment, a trending topic, a fleeting insult. Marcus Aurelius warned himself daily. If someone does wrong, the harm is to themselves. The wise man doesn't let the faults of others disturb his peace. Every reaction is a mirror. It reveals the part of you that still needs mastery. When someone offends you, it shows pride. When you envy, it shows insecurity. When you lash out, it shows attachment. The Stoic doesn't condemn emotion, he studies it. He asks, why did this move me? What belief lies behind my reaction? In the digital age, reflection is a superpower. When everyone rushes to speak, the one who pauses to think becomes rare. The pause, that single breath between stimulus and response, is where freedom lives. You can't always control what you see online, but you can control whether you become a puppet to it. Seneca wrote, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. Imagine how different social media would feel if people delayed even 10 seconds before posting. Reflection disarms the ego. It turns noise into perspective. When you wait, you see clearly. Most of what provokes you is not truth, but bait. So the Stoic rule is simple. Don't react. Reflect. Before applying, pause. Before posting, think. Ask, does this serve my peace or my pride? Most battles online are invitations to chaos. Decline them. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. The Stoic doesn't waste energy on digital storms. He saves it for real life, for family, purpose, and growth. He knows silence is not surrender, it's strength. When you learn to reflect instead of react, you reclaim mastery over your mind. You stop being controlled by others and start living by principle. In a world built to trigger you, staying calm is rebellion, and reflection, not reaction, is how you win that war quietly. Rule 3. Compare less, create more. Comparison has always been a thief of peace, but social media turned into a full-time job. Every scroll invites you to measure your life against another, their success, their body, their vacations, their highlight reels. You begin to look at your own life through a distorted lens, one that magnifies your perfection and minimizes your progress. Seneca once warned, "No man can be happy who looks for what others think of him." He knew that the human mind, when turned outward for validation, loses its inner balance. And yet, that's exactly what the digital world trains us to do. To crave likes, comments, approval. You stop asking, "Am I growing?" and start asking, "Am I being noticed?" Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily. Ambition means tying your well-being to what others say or do. Sanity means tying it to your own actions. Comparison destroys that sanity. It turns your journey into a performance. It replaces creation with imitation. You start living not to build something real, but to appear successful, to prove your worth to strangers who don't even know you. The Stoics didn't measure success by external trophies. For them, success was the inner victory, mastery over self, not domination over others. They didn't compete to impress. They worked to improve. They saw envy as a sickness of perspective, the inability to appreciate your own path because you're staring at someone else's. Social media thrives on this sickness. It sells illusion that someone else's pace should be your standard, that happiness is a contest, and that your worth depends on visibility. But the Stoic knows truth. Every person's path is different, and your progress means nothing when measured by someone else's timeline. The cure is creation. When you create, you return to yourself. Writing, building, learning, sharing, creation transforms envy into energy. It shifts your focus from what others have to what you can make. Creation is ownership of the present moment. Comparison is surrender to illusion. So the Stoic rule is this: compare less, create more. Unfollow accounts that fuel envy. Spend more time producing than consuming. When you feel inferior, don't scroll, build. When you feel left behind, don't envy, learn. Epictetus taught, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. In modern terms, don't post your progress to prove it, live it quietly. Your growth doesn't need an audience, it needs consistency. Peace begins when you stop measuring and start making. In a world obsessed with appearances, building something real is rebellion. Stop watching, start creating. Rule 4, disconnect to reconnect. Epictetus once said, if you wish to be loved, love yourself first. Yet in today's world, many see connection through screens and approval through numbers, likes, follows, views, all symbols that mimic closeness but rarely deliver it. We've mistaken connection for connectivity. The more we scroll, the less we actually feel. Social media connects us globally but isolates us emotionally. We're surrounded by digital noise but starved of genuine presence. Our attention is divided, our minds restless. We talk more, listen less. We react instantly, reflect rarely. In this endless exchange of words and images, something sacred is lost, the stillness required to know ourselves and truly understand others. Marcus Aurelius warned, nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. The Stoics valued solitude not as loneliness, but as nourishment. It was the place where clarity returned and perspective reset. But today, solitude has become uncomfortable. We fill every empty moment with screens, as if silence itself were unbearable. True connection begins when distraction ends. When you disconnect, even briefly, the noise fades and awareness sharpens. You begin to notice small things again, the tone of a loved one's voice, the warmth of sunlight, the rhythm of your own breath. Disconnection is not rejection of the world. It's renewal of your ability to engage with it deeply. Seneca wrote, to be everywhere is to be nowhere. To constantly exist online is to dilute your existence. You can't pour energy into every conversation, every argument, every feed, and still have enough left to live fully. Stoic wisdom calls us to guard that energy, to be selective with what deserves our mind and heart. So, the Stoic rule is simple: disconnect to reconnect. Set digital boundaries as you would protect sacred ground. Turn off notifications that invade your peace. Take digital fasts, an hour a day, a weekend, to reclaim control over your attention. When you re-enter the online world, do so as a master, not a servant. Epictetus reminded his students that we suffer not from the things themselves, but from our judgments about them. The constant stream of digital judgments, comparisons, opinions, outrage clouds perception. Disconnection clears it. It allows your mind to reset to its natural state, calm, rational, and free. In a hyper-connected age, solitude is strength, silence is clarity, and presence, real, undistracted presence, is the rarest form of love. Don't fear missing out on the world. Fear missing out on yourself. Disconnect not to escape life, but to return to it fully awake. Rule 5. Curate your inputs, shape your mind. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts." 2,000 years later, that wisdom has never been more urgent, because today, your thoughts are not shaped by chance. They're shaped by the content you consume. Every scroll, every headline, every video is a seed planted in the mind. Some grow into wisdom, others into worry. Most people never stop to ask, what am I feeding my mind with? We are careful about what we eat, but careless about what we consume mentally. And yet, your mental diet defines your inner state far more than food ever could. Seneca warned, associate with those who will make a better man of you. In the digital age, your associations are not just people. They're pages, channels, feeds, and influencers. Who you follow is who you become. If your feed is filled with outrage, vanity, and fear, your inner world begins to mirror it. But if you surround yourself with wisdom, art, learning, and truth, your thoughts rise to meet them. The Stoics saw the mind as a garden. Left unattended, weeds of distraction, envy, and anxiety grow wild. But with care, with discipline, you can cultivate clarity and strength. Today, that discipline looks like curation. You must become the gatekeeper of your own attention. Not everything deserves access to your mind. Not every trend deserves your reaction. The digital world thrives on chaos, but the Stoic thrives on order. Curate your inputs deliberately. Unfollow noise, mute negativity, block temptation. Replace endless consumption with mindful selection. Epictetus said, "We must not believe every report we hear." Apply that online. Don't absorb every opinion, every controversy, every outrage. Ask, is this helping me grow or just keeping me angry? The mind reflects what it repeatedly absorbs. Garbage in, anxiety out. Wisdom in, peace out. So, the Stoic rule is this. Curate your inputs. Shape your mind. Audit your digital environment regularly. Follow creators who teach, not tease. Read ideas that stretch you, not drain you. Let your feed become a library, not a battlefield. When you control what enters your mind, you control what emerges from it. Your mood, your words, your worldview. The Stoic seeks not more information, but better information. In an age of noise, curation is wisdom. What you consume today becomes who you are tomorrow. Choose carefully. Think deeply. Guard your mind like the sacred temple it is. Rule 6. Post with purpose, not for praise. Seneca once warned, the approval of the many is of no value to the wise. Yet in today's world, approval has become a form of currency. A digital like can feel like validation, and a lack of it can feel like rejection. Social media has blurred the line between sharing and performing, between expressing truth and seeking applause. When you post or praise, you trade authenticity for attention. You begin to shape your thoughts not by what you believe, but by what will be rewarded. Slowly, your sense of worth becomes dependent on invisible strangers who tap a button. Marcus Aurelius would call this slavery, the loss of inner freedom to the opinions of others. The Stoics taught that true peace comes from self-mastery, from being rooted in your own values, not in external approval. Epictetus said, if you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. The modern version might be, if you wish to stay sane online, post without caring who approves. Social media is not evil, it's a mirror. It reflects the intention behind your actions. Do you share to serve, to teach, inspire, express gratitude, or to be seen, admired, and validated? The first strengthens the soul, the second weakens it. When you crave praise, You become dependent on something you cannot control. When you post with purpose, you stay grounded regardless of the response. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, ambition means tying your well-being to what others say or do. Detach from that. Post because you have something meaningful to say, a thought that might help, a story that might uplift, an idea that reflects truth. Once shared, let go. The Stoic doesn't cling to outcomes. He does his duty, speaks honestly, and moves on. Purposeful posting also means restraint. Not every thought deserves publication. Seneca advised, we should say much to ourselves, little to others. In our age of oversharing, wisdom often looks like silence. Ask yourself before you post, is this kind? Is this useful? Does it reflect the person I aim to become? If not, it's better left unsaid. So, the Stoic rule is clear. Post with purpose, not for praise. Use your voice to add value, not noise. Share ideas that strengthen others, not content that seeks validation. In a world obsessed with visibility, humility is power. The Stoic does not post to impress. He posts to express truth. Let your words serve something higher than approval. That's how you stay free. Rule 7. Turn criticism into clarity. Epictetus said, if someone prove you wrong, acknowledge it gladly, for you have learned something. That single idea separates the wise from the reactive. In today's digital world, criticism travels faster than truth. One post, one comment, one opinion, and suddenly, everyone has something to say about you. The question is not whether you'll be criticized, but how you'll handle it. Social media has made judgment a sport. Everyone can comment. Everyone can condemn. And often, those judgments say more about the critic than the criticized. The Stoics understood this long before the internet. They believed that other people's opinions exist outside your control. Therefore, they cannot harm your peace unless you allow them to. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. The insult exists only if you accept it. The Stoic doesn't fear criticism. He studies it. He asks, is there truth here? If yes, he learns. If no, he moves on. Criticism can be a mirror or a weapon, depending on how you hold it. If you use it to attack yourself, it destroys confidence. But if you use it to reflect, it builds strength. Every harsh comment can either wound your ego or sharpen your character. Seneca said, the one who puts the finishing touches on their life each day is never short of time. In the same way, the one who refines themselves through criticism is never short of growth. Online, it's easy to take things personally, but personal growth begins when you stop taking everything personally. When others mock, question, or misunderstand you, pause. Reflect before reacting. Ask yourself, does this reveal something I can improve, or just something they project? If it's truth, embrace it humbly. If it's noise, let it pass silently. Epictetus taught his students to thank those who correct them. Imagine applying that mindset online. Meeting hostility with composure, ignorance with patience. That's the Stoic advantage. Turning attack into awareness. So, the Stoic rule is this. Turn criticism into clarity. Don't let online judgment cloud your peace. Let it guide your refinement. Criticism is only painful when your ego resists it. Once you detach, every insult becomes information, every comment an opportunity to grow. Marcus Aurelius faced daily scrutiny as emperor and wrote, what people say or think about me is not my concern, provided I act justly. That's your compass. Stay aligned with principle, not opinion. In a world addicted to reaction, responding with reason is power. Criticism doesn't define you, it reveals you. Use it well, and it becomes your teacher. Rule 8. Seek stillness amid the noise. Marcus Aurelius wrote, nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. That was centuries before social media, yet his wisdom fits our age perfectly. The modern world never stops speaking. Notifications flash, opinions collide, feeds refresh endlessly. But amid this digital storm, the Stoics seek stillness, not silence from the world, but peace within it. Stillness doesn't mean absence of sound. It means presence of focus. It's the ability to sit calmly while the world scrolls past. The Stoic does not escape the noise by abandoning the world. They learn to stand centered while the noise passes around them. As Epictetus said, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. The internet thrives on reaction. It rewards outrage, speed, and distraction. But wisdom moves slower. The Stoic resist the urge to respond instantly. Before posting, before arguing, before scrolling, they pause. That pause is not weakness. It's strength in disguise. Every pause builds presence. Every moment of stillness deepens clarity. Seneca compared life to sailing. The wind may blow fiercely, but the sailor who knows their direction is not afraid. In the same way, the Stoic on social media knows their purpose. They do not drift with every trending wave. They post, speak, and act with intention. When others chase validation, the Stoic chases virtue. Stillness is not found by turning your phone off. It's found by turning your mind inward. When you scroll endlessly, your mind becomes a marketplace. Crowded, noisy, chaotic. But when you choose stillness, your thoughts align, your emotions settle, and your perspective clears. In that space, peace is possible. Marcus reminded himself daily, the tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do, only what you do. Stillness is born the moment you stop living for the reactions of others. You realize that peace isn't a digital achievement. It's a discipline, one that must be practiced every day. To seek stillness is to reclaim your time and your attention. It's to open your social apps and remain unshaken by them. You read, you observe, you share, but you never drown. You protect your mind the way a guard protects a sacred temple. Nothing noisy enters without permission. So, the final Stoic rule is this: seek stillness amid the noise. Do not let the internet rush you, provoke you, or define you. Let others chase trends. You chase truth. Let others shout. You stay grounded. The noise will always exist, but peace will always belong to those who choose it. Epictetus said, if you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish. In this world of noise, stillness may look foolish, but it is the highest form of strength. Pause for a moment. Before you scroll to the next video, before your thumb flicks upward again, ask yourself this: who is really in control right now, you or the feed? We live in an empire of noise. The algorithm studies your fears, your cravings, your insecurities, and it feeds them back to you like candy for the mind. Every click trains it. Every reaction teaches it. Every moment of attention surrendered becomes a brick in your digital prison. But here's the truth the Stoics knew centuries ago. You can't control the world. You can only control yourself. And in this new age, that means mastering your digital self. Marcus Aurelius didn't have Instagram. Seneca didn't scroll through endless opinions. Epictetus didn't check comments. But they faced the same inner battle you face today. Distraction versus direction. Impulse versus intention. Noise versus peace. The battlefield has changed, but the war is the same. So, don't just watch this video and nod in agreement. Act on it. Audit your inputs. Declutter your digital life. Unfollow accounts that drain you. Stop chasing arguments that don't change you. Reclaim the sacred space of your mind. That's your true home. Start small. One mindful scroll, one intentional post, one quiet pause before reacting. That's Stoicism in practice. Not in books, not in quotes, but in the moment you choose peace over noise. Every tap, every scroll, every post is a choice. Will you add to the chaos or rise above it? If these 8 Stoic rules for social media peace spoke to something inside you, if they reminded you that you're not just a user, but a human being with agency, depth, and purpose, then take the next step, like this video, to remind yourself that stillness still matters. Comment your favorite Stoic rule, not for the algorithm, but to share wisdom that might help someone else. Subscribe for more Stoic reflections and daily reminders to master your mind before the world masters it for you. Because this isn't just about social media, it's about life. You can't control how others post, but you can control how you respond. You can't silence the world, but you can create silence within yourself. You can't make the internet peaceful, but you can become peace itself. The Stoics didn't teach escape, they taught endurance. They didn't promise quiet, they promised strength. So go, log back in, re-enter the digital storm, but this time, walk through it like a philosopher, calm, clear, untouchable, because peace isn't found by logging off. It's found by logging in with discipline, awareness, and purpose. The algorithm doesn't own your attention. You do. Now act like it.